When the Audi Q7 first launched in 2006, it was Audi's first full-sized SUV, and it was certainly well received by customers. Sharing some of its underpinnings with the Porsche Cayenne, it was both good to drive and had a luxurious interior. Now the Q7 has been reimagined with less weight for the engine to haul around and sharper lines. It's also completely loaded with technology, as Audi looks to lead the way in connectivity and infotainment. Step inside and the cabin is a transformation. Well, we can't go into every detail here. Let's take a look at the highlights. Well, the materials adorning this Audi wing dashboard are even better quality than before, and this continuous air vent makes a bold statement while also being able to softly diffuse air into the cabin. The MMI controller, with the neat touch of this gear lever which acts as a handrest, means that most controls are taken care of by the touchscreen, but there are still a few physical buttons for some of the major features and the climate control, so you don't have to delve into the menu every time you want to use them. But the biggest wow factor is reserved for the Audi Virtual Cockpit, which is £600 extra and brings a 12.3-inch display in place of any of the standard gauges. And there's enough information in here to keep a vehicle engineer occupied happily for a week. There's also the option of a head-up display for your speed and sat-nav instructions, Audi's phone box, which allows you to charge and boost the signal of your mobile phone wirelessly, automatic LED headlamps, and the ability to turn the car into a Wi-Fi hotspot. But the most mind-blowing option of all is Audi's traffic jam assist, which uses the sensors from the adaptive cruise control and things like the blind spot warning system, coupled with some clever software of course, to actually take control of the car in stop-start traffic on the motorway and drive the car itself, even going as far as to steer around obstacles in the road like a broken down car. The Q7 might be 37mm shorter and 15mm narrower than before on the outside, but inside it's actually bigger. And if you find yourself in the middle of one of these, headroom is really impressive, as is knee room. And to make things even better, each seat can slide forwards and backwards individually to alter leg room versus boot room, and they can also recline, which is great for when you want to relax on longer trips. As for the seats in the boot, they're also big enough for adults. The boot now measures a vast 770 litres, and the loading lip is 5 centimetres lower. Also making life easier is the third row of seats, which now raise and go down electrically, and really impressively, all 6 passenger seats can accommodate a child seat. This is easily the biggest Audi, so how does it fare on the road? Well, it's up to 325 kilograms lighter than before, and that means that it's better everywhere. It handles better, has better performance, and it's more efficient. From launch, it's available with just one engine, 3-litre V6 diesel with 268 brake horsepower. But what's really impressive is that it has 600 Newton meters of torque, which is roughly the same as you'll get in a Nissan GT-R sports car. So that means it has a deep well of power which you can call upon at any time, and it's incredibly smooth and quiet when you do. It'll go from 0 to 62 miles per hour from a standstill in just 6.5 seconds, and the 8-speed gearbox provides really smooth shifts. It'll also disconnect drive with a coasting feature when you come off the gas to save fuel. There'll also be a lower powered 215 horsepower version of the same engine, giving slightly better running costs and with a lower starting price. For such a large SUV, the Q7's handling is admirably car-like, with good body control and plenty of grip. In fact, it disguises its size so well, you sometimes have to remember to brake a split second earlier than you would in a normal car, because you do have to bring 2 tons of SUV to a halt. Saying that, it does have lots of stopping power. Every Q7 gets 5 driving modes, and while the steering is very light in comfort, it starts to weight up nicely in auto or dynamic as the speed increases. It's generally a very comfortable car, but the combination of 20-inch alloy wheels and the standard suspension can pick out some sharper bumps and potholes. For the ultimate Q7, you'll need adaptive air suspension like we have here, which adjusts both the ride height and stiffness, giving a more pronounced change between each driving mode. There's also now the option of all-wheel steering, which allows the rear wheels to turn by up to 5 degrees, giving the Q7 the same turning radius as an Audi A4, and improved high-speed stability. It almost feels bonkers describing the Q7 SUV as good value for money, but starting from $47,775, you are getting a whole lot of car for the cash. But you just have to remember not to get too carried away with the options. This S-Line model behind me starts from 53 grand, but this car as it sits is 63, with highlights including £2,000 for the adaptive suspension and £1,100 a piece for the leather interior and optional alloy wheels. Running costs are excellent, with 47.9 mpg and 153 grams per kilometre of CO2, putting the Q7 directly in contention for best of class honours with the Volvo XC90 and BMW X5. Also, it's expected to hold its value the best after 3 years of ownership. Audi is setting out its stall as being a brand leader for technology and connectivity, and the Q7 being one of its flagship models makes the Mars rover look out of date. If the idea of sitting in a traffic jam with the car driving itself sounds great to you, then this is the SUV you need. Thanks to clever parking technology, the Q7 also doesn't feel as cumbersome in town as it used to. So bearing all these things in mind, along with its extra performance, it really is showing a very strong hand indeed. Just don't go too crazy with the options list, or you may find yourself with a very large bill indeed. But what do you think of the Audi Q7? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Click on the inquire button to find out more details about this car, or for any other models visit carkeys.co.uk. And to watch more reviews, click on one of the links on screen now.